Hey, I'm Scott Grove from Imagine Grove, and today I have the privilege of touring Atlantic Veneer plant. So I'm going to show you how veneer is made from a tree to its finished product. You're going to enjoy this one. Newly delivered logs are individually inspected, checked for straightness, cut to length, and tagged. The logs are then transported to an outside holding area where they're kept wet to prevent checking. These logs won't stay here long as they process 15,000 board feet a day. The logs are then debarked and they go through a stump butt reducer. I think I need one of those, which takes out the taper, the bottom half of the tree where it gets wider, and makes the log more cylindrical. After the logs are debarked, this is where the fun really starts. The logs are faced on all four sides, and then they're halved on this massive bandsaw. The blade is 42 feet long, 13 inches wide. This is a serious operation, and it never gets old to watch this. These log halves, or flitches, will be paired back up with the other half, and they stay together through the entire veneering process so all the grain matches up. The pairs will then soak in the soaking tanks. This will soften the wood for the veneering cutting process. They'll soak anywhere from a day to a week depending on the species of log. Once the logs are softened, they're ready for slicing, so let's make some veneer. These slicers are an amazing tool. The log flitches are held on the cutting plate or fitch plate by vacuum only. This is amazing to watch. Once held in place at a slight angle, we're ready to go. Obviously, everything is run by computer here. This veneer slicer can cut up to 14 feet long. It'll run 65 to 90 strokes a minute. And once it gets going, the veneer really comes off the line pretty quick. These guys really have a challenge to keep up with them. The outfeed table is underlit. They're also inspecting the wood as it comes off. If they see a scratch, they'll stop the machine, they'll go in and they'll check the log and sharpen the blade to get that little nick out. It's really pretty basic, just with a standard sharpened stone. The veneer that comes off the line is still wet. It's soft, very pliable. Now it's ready for drying. On a side note, all the scrap is burned for fuel. It was pretty amazing to see this operation. There are only 2 slicers operating at that time, but they have a total of 6, and they can really crank this stuff out. The freshly cut veneer then goes into the dryers. They have 2 massive drying conveyor belts. Veneer, again, is held individually by vacuum. It's really interesting to see how the stuff gets sucked up and pulled into the dryers. The veneer comes out the other side completely dry. It is stacked in 24 sheet packs. And each log is still kept together. Each pack is then put on a conveyor belt, ready for slicing. These 14-foot guillotines really move. They slice one side of the edge first, go to an opposing slicer, which cuts the other edge. I do like the idea of these wrist restrainers so the guy can't accidentally put his hands under the guillotine. It's a good idea. Further down the line, they have 2 other opposing guillotines that do the end cuts. Then each pack is then scanned for size and individually labeled. Now the fun part. Every single pack is graded, and they have up to 35 different grades for each type of cut and grain and quality. It's really interesting. They are then sorted and stacked by grade. There's a lot of veneer here. Now some of this veneer will go over the Veneer Tech plant and made into sheet veneer. Let's show you how that works.
Here I'm at Veneer Tech plant, and this is just an amazing facility, and they're just making sheets of veneer. Hope you enjoy it.
The packs are individually double cut with a double-edged guillotine. This is really interesting, and it's also laser controlled. And every conveyor belt is monitored by a master control system. Glue is then applied to both edges of the veneer pack. The individual sheets are then edge glued together. Here they're doing a book match, where every other sheet is flipped over so the grain will perfectly align. And the full sheets of veneer come out the other side. That easy.
Working on it.
For random match panels, this computerized machine will pull from a variety of different stacks and then all glued together. This is really something. Again, they're fed into an edge gluing machine, and out comes the sheet of veneer. The random length ends are also cut off at this time.
Working on it.
Some of these sheets are made into 2-ply veneer sheets, which are 2 sheets of veneer glued together. Here they're stacked with a sheet of glue paper in between each sheet. They are then stacked 10 sheets at a time in this multi-heat press. And out comes 2-ply veneer. The 2-ply veneer is then ran through a flexing machine that runs the veneer over a 1/4-inch rod and makes the veneer just a little more flexible. These sheets are then ready to be sized. They go down the cutting line. They are trimmed on the ends and the edges. After sizing, they go into a multi-head wide belt sander and are sanded to 120 grit. From there, sheets are either sold in bulk or rolled individually for retail sale. Isn't that amazing?
Hey, I hope you really enjoyed that. This is just an amazing process, and certainly I hope that opens your eyes to using veneer in the future in your next project. We'll see you. Thanks. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. I really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel and my website, imaginegrove.com. I also have a free newsletter there, which is based on design tips for craftspeople, so hope that works out for you. And again, remember to find the line and cross it. See you next time. Safety first.